Don't joke to M23, my bro. Don't joke. That is army for the people. Don't joke. Don't joke. Move, move, quickly, quickly. Jump, jump, quickly, quickly, quickly. Hey, hey, quickly, 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 quickly.
To M23 supporters, the footage was pure digital adrenaline because an African commander was publicly giving orders to foreign fighters, flipping a script many on the continent know too well, where outsiders have long dictated terms on African soil.
N'amenez pas les aventures ici. Tu as compris? On extermine une catégorie de la population. On mange même leur chair humaine. $8 000. Un soldat congolais touche moins de $100.
But the internet, of course, loved it. The clip went viral, transforming Ngoma into an instant celebrity among M23 supporters. However, while he was busy curating his brand as a resistance icon, he had forgotten the first rule of the jungle. If you stick your head up, it gets blown off. The clip had humiliated the entire Congolese government, its president, its army, and most dangerously, its foreign backers, who had spent millions importing white machineries to do what the Congolese army couldn't.
What is your experience in Goma?
Our experience, we were just working there as instructors for the army. So,
Are you mercenaries?
No, instructors.
And that's the thing about wartime visibility. It doesn't just make you famous, it makes you findable. You see, Ngoma's enemies didn't need to invent reasons to want him gone. They already had a file. By the time that video made him a household face in the conflict, he had been sanctioned by the European Union since December 2022 and listed by the United Nations Security Council since at least 2024 under resolutions tied to undermining peace in the DRC. Now, the sanctions didn't accuse him of being merely an internet sensation. The charges were a laundry list of horrors, fueling instability, involvement in killings and abductions, and looting communities, recruiting child soldiers, sexual violence, sustaining a parallel war economy financed through illegal mineral taxation and network.
We are a Congolese army. We are Congolese. We fight for a fair and noble cause. We are Congolese. We are not helped by Rwanda.
No, let's talk that.
In other words, he had swallowed far more than he could chew, and the bill was piling up.
Notre pays. Donc, il traverse directement la frontière rwandaise. Donc, pour aller chez eux.
By February 2026, exactly 1 year after his internet stardom, President Felix Tshisekedi had stopped relying on sleepless nights and started relying on air superiority. The Congolese government had invested heavily in drone technology, looking to end the cat and mouse game in the dense forests of the east. One hotspot was Rubaya in Masisi territory, North Kivu, strategic not only because it sits on contested ground, but because it is rich in and other minerals, the kind of resources that turn conflict into an economy. Willy Ngoma had reportedly been in and around that region for months, taking refuge in the area, likely thinking the rugged terrain would keep him safe. But you can't hide from the skies. On Tuesday, February 24th, 2026, the drones arrived. A Congolese army drone strike hit rebel position in Rubaya. Several M23 fighters were reportedly killed. Among them, according to regional security sources, was Willy Ngoma, the viral spokesman, the sanction-listed figure, the man whose voice had become a brand. The aftermath, predictably, was a tale of two cities. M23 supporters and critics of the government mourned him as a brave soldier, a martyr taken out in a violation of the ceasefire that only escalates the struggle. On the other side, government supporters saw it as a breakthrough. They described him as a key figure in a Rwanda-backed rebellion and framed the drone strike as proof that the state can still project force in the east.
Nous sommes aujourd'hui le 16 décembre 2024. Vous voyez les véhicules en train de brûler. Les FARDC
have been forced to flee. The Tuesday pre-dawn attack that killed M23 spokesperson Willy Ngoma targeted a spot that has in recent weeks served as an enclave for the M23 rebels, according to residents. Rubaya, a key coltan mining town in eastern DRC, produces approximately 15% of global supply and is also a key financial stronghold for the M23 rebels.
Et donc, dans un contexte où le 1-23...
The M23 relies heavily on the Rubaya mine to keep itself financially afloat. Losing Rubaya and the decapitation of Willy Ngoma would be a hard blow to the rebellion.
Un vrai coup pour la rébellion.
The attack also comes at a time when Qatar-mediated ceasefire efforts are underway in Doha, where the DRC government and the M23 signed ceasefire agreements. Both parties have been trading accusations of violating the terms of the truce. Experts say Ngoma's killing might further strain ongoing peace efforts.
L'autre conséquence, ça peut être...
The other consequence may be the radicalization of the rebellion, as they have long decried Kinshasa's violation of the ceasefire. So the assassination or death of their leader could be a tipping point, meaning the M23 could abandon its current defensive stance and trigger a resumption of hostilities.
Une reprise des hostilités.
Willy Ngoma had been under European Union sanctions since December 2022 for his role as M23 spokesperson. He was also designated by the US in 2023 for alleged involvement in human rights violations, including killings and sexual violence. Sophia Shimechero, CGTN.
For more, we earlier spoke to Chris Ochemringa at Kinshasa. Let's take a listen.
And so the government in Kinshasa hasn't made any official statement. We've only seen people who are close to the government, the ruling party, celebrating this killing of a senior member. I think Willy Ngoma is one of the most senior officials of M23 who has been killed so far. And they are hoping that, you know, this sends a message to other members of the M23 rebels to stop this fighting. But according to a statement that has been circulating on social media, the M23 rebels expressed very consternation about this killing and said that they are informing the national and international community about this constant violation by the Kinshasa authorities of a ceasefire agreement, and that they will, you know, take action, make sure that Kinshasa officials pay this attack on one of their senior members. So we're waiting to see what the government here will pronounce in the coming days. We are likely to see an escalation of the fighting before guns fall silent, because the M23 have repeatedly been saying that if their positions are attacked, they will go back and deal with that threat at the source. You know, they go to places, attack. Recently, they attacked an airport in the northwestern city of Kisangani. They were saying that of Willy Ngoma. There is a team of Willy Ngoma. There is a team of UN peacekeepers that has been deployed to the city of Uvira, and they have also been joined by members of an intergovernmental body known as the International Conference of the Great Lakes region to kind of prepare the ground for this ceasefire monitoring mission that is supposed to take place in Uvira. So they're supposed to act as a buffer between the M23 and the government forces. And there was fighters to stop the fighting. But there's still, a lot of fighting going on, so they will not deploy until they're assured of the guns falling silent between the two parties.
And even when I reached here, and even when I reached here, it came 2 times. But this is what the voice was saying.
But still there, I thought maybe it was my thoughts, but when I reached here, I saw it the more. So I was like, this is not my thoughts, these aren't my thoughts. Most of the times, though I'm educated enough, whenever I'm into godly things, I put my knowledge aside.
Don't clap. You don't need.
Whenever I'm into godly things, whenever you hear me talking about God stuff, just get to know that I put my knowledge into somewhere, into a basket somewhere. So someone who drives me here is someone else. Where is that?
Where is that watch with the Fame International Church logo? Where is it? Inside. Do people sit from there? Where is it supposed to be? Wonderful. But the Spirit always tells me, when I descend, you are no longer the driver. You are just a vessel. Now this other voice came, but this is what he was saying. I'm still holding people's victory because I've not yet confirmed their reliability. I'm not so sure that if I give a release to them, that they will remain faithful. That's why I'm still holding some of them, and I'm going to make them, actually some of them, fall off from the grace because their destiny is in falling away. Robert, this is it. Now, I'm speaking the voice, and I don't think it comes from my own mind. Jesus told his disciples, do you want to leave me? Can you go so that I can remain alone? It's only Peter who said, where should we go? Because you have the words of eternal life. Then he said, it's not by flesh, but by the Spirit that you speak the things. But this voice comes quite often. And I'm observing it. That God is still holding something. Because the receiver has not yet developed the faithful part. And here in this ministry, this next quarter, I'm going to begin declaring fasting only for people who have food at home, who have drinks at home, who can buy food. Those who cannot buy food are going to be eliminated from this fasting.
Some things they don't really need too much prayer, but they need to put their hands onto. You don't really need that too much prayer. You need prayer to sit where you are.
Just need to sit. N'obulokola obusinga ekintu kitawaanyiza ne kireetedde abantu okugwa. Katonda bw'atakola kirungi
When God doesn't do what is right,
taba Katonda.
then he happens not to be
Therefore
God.
anja muvaako.
So I will
Noonye
turn my
Katonda.
back on him so that I see God.
Mukama mwebaza.
I thank God
Yanzimbidde amaka.
that he built me a house.
Mwebaza.
I thank him
Yabukesezza ndi
that
mulamu.
by the time he was
Mwebaza
running
yampadde
out my life,
omulimu.
he gave me a job.
Yampadde ezzadde.
He gave me a child.
Wonderful.
Kirungi nnyo.
Can you go to the other side?
Tugendeko sayidi endala.
Takuwadde ennyumba.
He has not given you a home,
Takuwadde omwana.
not even a child.
Omwami akukubye.
Even the husband has hit
Ofunye accident.
you. You have gotten an accident.
Omwana we afudde.
Your child is
That the glory goes back to God.
Nti ekitiibwa kidde
As
eri
much
Mukama.
as
Kasita
we
kino
attach it to Him.
nga
Certain
tukimukwasaako.
things
Bimu
are quickened by the devil.
bwa sitaani
Enable some people fall.
asobozesa abamu okugwa.
Because you know